And good Saturday evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, continuing with our streaming coverage as we're tracking these showers and storms that are once again moving in from the northwest, pushing closer to the Atlanta area. Now, as you're watching this and comparing this to what we were dealing with last night, we don't think that these storms are as strong as the ones that we had last night. These are just going to be a little bit weaker, but still they are strong enough for us to trigger a few severe thunderstorm warnings there in parts of northwest Georgia. Here is that line of storms. You can see it as it was coming in from Alabama, moving into northwest Georgia. As this moved into northwest Georgia, we did have a tornado warning in effect for a brief period up in Walker County. That's outside of our viewing area here. That's way up here, really in the Chattanooga TV viewing area. That's why we didn't break into programming for that. But that system did have some rotation back into Alabama as well. They had a couple of tornado warnings back there. But once it moved into northwest Georgia, it lost its circulation. We did have that warning there for a bit, but then it has since been canceled. But now with these storms, we're still dealing with some wind and potential for some hail with that is prompting those severe thunderstorm warnings in North Georgia. I'll take a closer look at those in just a moment. But as you can see here in Atlanta, we don't have any rain here yet, but this is going to be on the way. It's going to be pushing into our area in just a little while, but we still think it'll be weakening a little bit more. Here's the difference in what we had from yesterday and today. Yesterday's high was 86 degrees. We had plenty of heating, plenty of warmth and instability here ahead of those storms that came in from Alabama last night. What's different today is our high was 68 degrees. Our air is a lot cooler. We already had some rain come in this morning. Excuse me, that kind of stabilized our atmosphere a little bit. And so as these continue to move closer, yes, we will have some more rain. We will have rumbles of thunder, flashes of lightning. We will have the potential for some strong wind and small hail. But again, we don't think they're going to be as strong as the ones that we had here last night. So here's a closer look at what we're watching. You see these severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm going to plot here what we're watching. I'm going to put this back into live mode right now, and you'll be able to see these areas that we're watching. They're in North Georgia, where we have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. I'll zoom in a little bit tighter to this one right here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for areas of Whitfield County, Gilmer County, Gordon County, and Murray counties. All right. So you'll be able to see that here. This is going to be in effect until 7 o'clock. This storm mainly has some strong winds with it, 60-mile-an-hour winds, the potential for some small hail. We have those bands of heavy rain and some thunder and lightning with it too. So this is Gordon County, this is Whitfield County, this is Murray County. It goes into parts of Gilmer County and a little bit of Pickens County right here as that storm continues to move on over to the east. Now this is going to be in effect for about another 22 minutes there, excuse me, in parts of northwest Georgia. Now if we come down a little bit more, you'll be able to see here what we're watching with this one. Let's see here, I'm making sure, so they are... Okay, they're issuing a severe thunderstorm watch too. I'll be able to show you that here in just a moment as well. But let's concentrate on this area that we are watching here in parts of West Georgia, where we have another severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. I'm walking over here to this side to control my maps here, and I'm getting some information that is just now coming in. But here is the latest that we have right now on the severe thunderstorm warning that includes a big part of Floyd County and also into those areas of Gordon County and Polk County. So this is Floyd right here. Really the strongest part of this is what's coming out of Alabama, moving into Polk County, right there at Cedartown. This in Floyd County looks like it has already weakened somewhat, but that's going to keep moving over to the east. If that holds together, it would make it into Bartow County in just a little while, and then continuing on through parts of Polk County as well. With those storms as they continue to move on over to the east. As we look at this, I'm going to widen out just a little bit more. We're still watching this part right here from Cleburne County. Now, there is not a severe thunderstorm warning with this in Cleburne County, Alabama. That's also moving into the northern parts of Randolph County, too. These newer scans coming in here showing this inching a little bit closer. So this has me a little bit more optimistic that this is not a warned storm there in Cleburne County, but as it crosses over the line, it may intensify a little bit, and we might get a good scan on this from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, where they may potentially potentially, if this holds together, could potentially issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Polk County or maybe Carroll County in just a little bit. So those are the warnings that we have in effect for our area right now. And again, I'm going to put this into motion so you can see here what we're watching with the motion of this storm coming out of Alabama, moving to the east, and eventually this would be pushing into the Atlanta area within the next hour and a half or so. I know we've got the big game going on at Truist Park where the Dodgers are in town. So a lot of people are going to be at the stadium, curious as to what's going to happen. I do think it will bring us some rain, but hopefully not that it would be a total rain out. I do think that we might have some rain delays, though, during the game, and then hopefully they would be able to finish it after this moves on through, because this is what it is. It's pretty much a thin band of rain, some severe, heavy rain and thunder and lightning with it. That'll be moving through, and then once it's through here, it will begin to taper off just a little bit more. Let me see here if the severe thunderstorm watch is updated yet here on our graphics, because I want to be able to show you. Okay, these are the areas included in this thunderstorm watch, and let me give you the new expiration time with this. This is going to be until 11 o'clock. So let me correct this on the top of the screen that you see here. But we do have a new severe thunderstorm watch that is going to be in effect until 11 o'clock this evening. That's the latest that we have here on this storm as it continues to move into our direction. We also are continuing to watch here the, and you're going to see this change on the top of your screen here in just a moment here as I update that new expiration time. All right. Okay, there we go. So it just changed the new expiration time right there at 11 o'clock tonight. So this does include the city of Atlanta, all of these counties that you see in orange here, all of the metro area included in this new severe thunderstorm watch. And it goes down on the south side too, all the way down into areas of Columbus, Georgia, near Columbus, there in parts of Meriwether County, Troup County, also over to Upson County, Pike Lamar County, Spalding County, Butts County, over into Rockdale County, also Newton County, up toward Walton County, Barrow County, just to the west of Athens, and into areas of Banks County and Hall County as well. Those are the areas, and it goes back toward the Rome area too. Those are the areas where we have this severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. And this also is that level 1 of 5 risk that we have for some of those storms that could turn strong. And the main threats with that would be some damaging winds and hail possible. Again, this is not a big time tornado maker, but as we witnessed yesterday with that water spout at Lake Lanier, we have to watch at any time with any of these storms where some rotation could develop. And we did have some of that in northwest Georgia earlier, where we had that tornado warning that was in effect for those areas of Dade and Walker County just a little bit earlier. So let's go back to radar here, and we can see again as we put this into motion and look at this system as it is getting a little bit closer to us. And then I'm going to show you a couple of tower cams that we have too. This is coming through Rome right now. I'm going to show you that Rome tower cam in just a little bit. But then this right here now, still looking a little impressive, but not as strong as it was, as this is moving into those areas of Gilmer County and also into Pickens County, where we see that heavier rain. And again, that thunder and lightning in association with it. And then all of this stretching back into Floyd County. The northern part of that doesn't look as impressive, but on the south end of Floyd County and into areas of Polk County, they're that northwest corner of Polk County, and then moving into central Polk, we do have these strong storms that continue to move on over to the east as well. I'm going to be interested to see if they are going to continue that warning there for Haralson and Polk. Now, what they're doing right now is, instead of issuing a new warning for Polk County and also Haralson County, they're issuing a special weather statement, which is indicative of the weakening that we've been seeing here. They're now saying that it's 40-mile-an-hour winds, pea-sized hail, and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. So it's not as strong now in these areas of central Polk County and moving into Haralson County as it was back into Alabama, where we had 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. So now the wind speeds have come down a little bit. Again, expecting that weakening as this moves in to, as I mentioned, we had a high today of 68 degrees. Yesterday's high was 86. And that 86-degree high yesterday from the afternoon really helped to kind of fuel the atmosphere a little bit more with some more instability. But it's just been cooler in our area today, and the air has been less stable. We don't have what we look for a lot of times when we're forecasting these storms. Is called CAPE. It's convective available potential energy for thunderstorms to erupt and become severe. And the CAPE levels today excuse me, were much lower than what we had yesterday. So that's why we expect these storms to weaken a little bit more. As you can see here, that severe thunderstorm warning that we had over to the through Floyd County and also into those areas of Polk County, that just expired right at 6:45. So that polygon went away. Now we have a brand new one right here. All right, so that storm that is coming out of Gilmer County, or coming out of actually Murray County and Gordon County, moving into Gilmer and Pickens. We have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for you folks there as this storm is moving in. I'll put that into live mode for us so we can kind of get a good look at that part of it right here. This is going to be in effect until 7:30. So, as I mentioned, for those counties there at Gilmer County, this part right here from Ellijay pretty much southward, including Cardiquay, it goes down into Pickens County, includes just that little bit right there, you see, of northwestern parts of Dawson County. So this is still holding together. The Weather Service is telling us that this storm is, for those areas, is still producing 60 mile an hour wind gusts. We don't have any hail indicated with this storm, but it's 60 mile an hour wind gusts with this, which is one of the qualifiers for it to be a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's moving into those areas, moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour. I'm going to put a track on this for you. This part right here is probably the strongest part there, going to the east at about 30 miles an hour. That would take it into Ella Gap at 6:52. And then to Dyke at 7:02, Cardiquay at 7:05, so that would be that area just south of Ellijay. Rolston at 7:07, and then if it continues on over to the east and holds together, that would make it to Amicalola at 7:21, Nimbleville at 7:33, and then into Gaddisstown at 7:41, and that would be up here in this area. So watching this very closely here, as that storm seems to be holding together still pretty well and continuing that severe thunderstorm warning there just to the east. And let me move this over just a little bit more so you can get a good look at that right there. And we'll see additional storms back over into Somerville and Lafayette, still with some thunder and lightning there in northwest Georgia. So still a good area of rain coming through. The good news is what we were seeing in Rome and down into Polk County. What you're seeing, that flashing, is this is going between our radar and the radar over in Birmingham. That's why we're seeing some different echoes that are coming in there. This is now just our radar here. But this is still heavy rain in Polk County, moving into parts of Haralson County, but the Weather Service is assessing that this is not classified as severe anymore, but still heavy rain, thunder, and lightning in association with that. But this to the north of us, coming out of Murray County and Gordon County, moving into these areas of Gilmer County and also northern parts of Gordon County, of actually Pickens County here and Dawson County. That's where we have this next warning, where we are seeing winds that are around 60 miles an hour, continuing to move on over to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So a good look here at what we're watching with these storms coming into parts of West Georgia. And even though the heaviest rain has already moved through northwest Georgia with that main line, and again, the leading edge of that, you can see how that's really showing signs of weakening, where it was really impressive there with all the reds coming through Dade, Walker County, Whitfield County, Murray County, Catoosa County. But a lot of that red now is kind of shrinking up a little bit. That's a sign of weakening here, but still the Weather Service is indicating some winds there at 60 miles an hour. That's why they extended that warning into areas of Gilmer County, northern parts of Pickens County, and into Dawson County. And this still has heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but it is also showing signs of weakening. That's why the Weather Service has not issued any additional severe thunderstorm warnings with that. But you know what we have to watch with these, at any time we could see rotation developing out of them. But again, this is a totally different scenario than what we had last night. Our temperatures today much cooler, our air is a little more stable, and we're actually witnessing the weakening of this right now, especially that leading edge here. This is encouraging to me, as again, I just want you to see that here is this loop. In fact, I'm gonna manually do this loop right here, so you can see what we're watching here. I'm gonna take this backwards, all right? And I want to walk you through this slowly. All right, so this goes back to 5:03 tonight. This was as this line was moving into Dade and Walker. You see all that red? This goes to 5:30, all right? You see all the red right there? Really heavy rain, and that's where we had the tornado warning earlier up in Dade and parts of Walker County. Watch though as this goes into Dalton, still pretty red, still a lot of orange with that. And now I'm going to advance it to now. What I want you to watch here, from Rome up to Dalton, all right? Watch now as this moves into Gilmer County, watch how that red starts to disappear, okay? You see that? See how that shrinks up? And that leading edge is weakening, but still strong enough for us to have this severe thunderstorm warning continuing here for that part of Gilmer, also northern parts of Pickens County and over into Dawson County. But that's an encouraging sign to me that that red part of that, and still some orange and yellow, and not seeing as much lightning with it either, how that is weakening as it continues moving on over to the east. And we expect that to be the trend with this coming from Rome, Cedartown, Fruithurst into Alabama here in Cleburne, Randolph County. That's moving into Polk and Haralson. This is also, even though we've got a lot of red still with that, this is also not as strong as it was back into Alabama. And we think that weakening trend is going to continue too as this all gets closer to the Atlanta area. Let me show you here a couple of our tower cams. This one is our tower cam at Northside Hospital. They're at 285 and 400. So from Northside, we're looking toward the west. This would be like down toward the Roswell Road exit right here. And you see all the dark clouds that are building in there. We also have this tower cam up in the Rome area, I believe. Yeah, okay, this is the Rome tower cam where we can see the rain that is coming down. It has been coming down in Floyd County. The wind is blowing there. You see the flags blowing a little bit more. So a good coverage of rain. It's a little bit lighter. It was heavier just a little bit earlier, but not as intense as it was a little bit earlier too. And again, in case you are just joining us, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is supposed to be in effect until 11 o'clock. That does include pretty much the entire metro area. It goes up as far north as these areas of Dawson County and into parts of Lumpkin County here, Hall, Banks County, down just to the east of Athens, including Barrow County. It does not include Oconee County. It includes Walton, down into Newton County, Butts County, down to Upson County, toward the Columbus area. All of this that you see in orange, including all of Metro Atlanta, over to the state line, is where we have this severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11. I don't think it's going to last all the way until 11. I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to start taking away some of these counties on the west side before 11. And then if this weakening trend continues, they may cancel the entire watch before 11 o'clock tonight rolls around. So just really kind of watching these storms as they move on through the area. Let me make sure I'm not getting any new information in right now from the National Weather Service. They did issue one new thing. Yeah, it's just more about that severe thunderstorm watch. Nothing new with them coming in. And then just some additional still watching this severe thunderstorm warning still for those areas of Gilmer County. I want to look at the expiration time on this again. There's a look at those storms as they've been moving in from the west. I'll put this into live mode. And again, we've been seeing that weakening. Now, again, the size of those storms has shrunk up just a little bit, but we still have some individual cells within that are strong. So this is going to be in effect, supposed to be in effect until 7:30. It's not even 7 yet. We're still It's 6:54. We're 5-6 minutes away from 7 o'clock, and this is supposed to go another 30 minutes until 7:30. So we'll see if this is going to maintain that strength moving through the rest of Gilmer County, also into that northern part of Pickens County and into Dawson County there for the next 35 minutes or so as it moves on over to the east. These storms, I want to put an arrival map on here. We have a new special weather statement. This is for those storms. As I'm talking about these, this is going to be good information that we're getting in. So again, this is not a warning for you folks over in West Georgia, but the National Weather Service, I'll let you be able to see that right there to the west here. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of central Paulding, eastern Haralson, northern Carroll, southeastern Floyd, eastern Polk, and southern Bartow counties through 7:30. That's this entire area. All those counties that I just mentioned is from this area right here where you see that red, where we have that heavy rain. This has up to 40-mile-an-hour winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and heavy rain. So again, in order for this to be classified as severe, we would have to have winds of 57, 58 miles an hour or greater for it to be classified as a severe storm. And right now, the Weather Service is just saying up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. So at this point, it looks like, even though we've got a lot of red in here and a lot of heavy rain, those are the main threats. The 40-mile-an-hour winds, rain coming in, as well as they do not, cloud-to-ground lightning and heavy rain. We don't have any evidence of any hail with those either there in West Georgia going through Polk County. But this is about to move into Paulding. It's going to be moving into that northern parts of Carroll right here. It'll be moving into Douglas County in just a little bit. And then this is the line that we're expecting to push into the rest of our area in just a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to widen out just a little bit and put this into motion. I'm going to step out of the shot for just a moment because I'm going to go back over to our tower cams. I want to put in our Truist Park tower cam so that y'all can get a good look at that. As again, this system continues to move through here. And I'll get that coming up here for you in just a second. So what you're watching now, here we are in Atlanta. We are not seeing any rain in our area yet, but that rain is just to the west of us. And as it is moving through, hold on a second. Okay, I had to think while I put my password in. It is going to be moving into Atlanta here in just a little bit. And when it does, it's going to have some rain with it. It's going to have some thunder and lightning. It will have some gusty winds with it. But we really think that by the time it gets here, the severe part of this will most likely not be causing that much of an issue anymore. That it will be, still gusty winds and stuff, but most likely this should stay below severe limits by the time it moves into the Atlanta area. But this is just something that we're going to need to monitor here for just a little while longer. Here is a look. I'm going to show this to you here in just a moment at Truist. I'll be able to put this up here for you to see in just a minute. And there are going to be people in the stadium right now at Truist hoping that they can at least get the get part of this game in. But I really think that I'm hoping that this is not going to have to be a total rain out. I really think that they will be able to get the game at least going. They may have to have a rain delay, and then hopefully everybody would take cover and be in a safe spot during that rain delay. And then hopefully as it moves through, all those folks could go back to their seats and watch the rest of the game as it comes in. You can see here from to the west, these clouds that are building, that's that leading edge of some of those showers and storms that are out to the west that will be moving in over Truist in just a little while. So that is what we're watching here. I'm going to hang with you guys for a while longer. I'm just going to keep streaming. If y'all can hear me there, I'm going to hang with it just a little bit longer here because I really want to watch this, these warnings that we have. We see this one most likely right here that is going to, I think this one is supposed to expire hopefully in just a few minutes, but then we're going to hold on to this last warning for, this one's supposed to be in effect until 7:30, but if we see any more weakening, they may cancel that a little bit earlier. But also, These showers and storms back to the west of us are still looking impressive. We've got a lot of lightning kind of ramping up here over in Wedowee. That's in Randolph County, Alabama. So these are about to move into areas of Carroll County, right there along I-20 and south of I-20, also into parts of Heard County. So over in West Georgia, you're going to have heavy rain. You're going to be seeing the lightning. You're going to be hearing the thunder. But just the winds are below what would classify this as a severe storm. We're talking about winds there, as the Weather Service has been saying, up to 40 miles an hour. Now, of course, we could see that pulse up a little bit more, and those winds can get a little stronger, and they may decide to issue some warnings getting closer to Atlanta. But as of right now, the trends that we've been seeing is that we're seeing those signs of weakening. Now, did you notice that? We no longer have this warning right here. Well, it is still there right here. I really think that they're going to be letting that go in just a little bit, and that may be disappearing from your screen there. Okay, it just did right there. So we're just now at the 7 o'clock hour. That was set to expire at 7. So that warning for Gordon County, southern parts of Murray County, and the western parts of Gilmer County, that warning just expired. But it's this part right here that is still strong enough for the Weather Service to hold on to this warning. It's supposed to be in effect until 7:30. We'll see if they let it last through 7:30 or if they'll cancel it earlier. If that part of the storm continues to show signs of weakening and that goes below that severe status, and then we wouldn't have any warnings here. But still, for Atlanta, I want you to be prepared as these storms come in. It will be bringing us some rain. It'll be bringing us thunder and lightning. Some of that rain can be heavy at times, and some gusty winds that most likely will be below what we would classify as severe storms. Again, winds less than 57, 58 miles an hour for it not to be severe. Here it is in motion, and you can see here that area of rain still looking impressive there. And that rain, in fact, I'll put a track on this. That entire line, these individual storms have generally been moving over toward the east at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So I'm just going to take this leading edge there that's over in parts of Haralson County, and you'll be able to see the time of arrival of what we're watching. And again, these aren't severe, but I just wanted to kind of track this leading edge. It wouldn't be into Douglasville until about 7:44, and then to Austell at 7:54. So for Atlanta proper here, we most likely have another hour before this will make it into our area. So hopefully the Braves game will be able to get underway, and they will most likely have a bit of a delay. The game is supposed to start at 7:15. Now we also have to watch for the lightning with it too. They may put the tarp on the field and call it or make the rain delay before the rain actually arrives if there's any lightning there coming into within a certain number of miles to Truist. So we'll wait and see if that lightning still holds together with this, but I'm thinking around 8 o'clock or after, that's when we'll be seeing that rain coming in to the west side of the perimeter. Probably closer to 8 o'clock, maybe about an hour, when that's going to be coming into the west side of the perimeter, and then again impacting this spot right here at 75 and 285. That is where we have Truist Park, where we'll have the rain coming in around that time, and most likely would have a delay for a while, and then just get the rest of this rain out of there, and then I would think that they would resume the game after that, depending on how long it takes to get through there. So that's the latest on that line of rain coming in. Now you'll notice here to the south, back into Alabama, there are some additional severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me see, we're getting a new update here. Let me see what this is saying. Some good information coming in from the National Weather Service. So there's a cell at the Alabama-Georgia border in northern Heard right now. Okay, this is an area that they're watching that has some mid-level rotation with it. I'm going to put this into live mode. For Marcos in there, just in case. I'm not saying that there's going to be a tornado warning with this, but we do have a little bit of rotation with this cell coming into the northern parts of Heard County right here. If they were to issue a tornado warning, we would have to break into programming on 11 Alive. I also need to monitor what's happening with the Derby. I'm not sure if the race is over yet or if it's about to start. Okay, so if they issue a warning, I hope it's after the race is over. I would hate to have to cut into that, but we'll monitor that if we get closer. So if we get a tornado warning with this in the northern parts of Heard County, we'll need to break into programming, but I'll let you know when we would do that. If again, if that would move into potentially Troup County. So it's right there on, yeah, right there in the northern parts. Okay, let me look at velocity here too. And again, when you guys are watching us here on streaming, okay, there's just that little bit of rotation right there. That's not that impressive. Right there to the west of Ephesus, between Ephesus and Yates Crossroads. That little bit of rotation right there at Sewell. You can see that right here, all right? So we're watching this very closely to see if this little bit of mid-level rotation gets a little bit tighter. And if it does, they may issue a tornado warning, possibly. I'm not saying they're going to do that. But again, as you're watching us here on streaming, we're getting data in as I'm talking to you. And so I'm just sharing with you what we are seeing here. There's some weak mid-level rotation with it, and it would move into the southern parts. It would be in the northern parts of Heard County. Yeah, so we'll be watching that very closely here to see if they need to issue a tornado warning here with that as it crosses over the state line. So that's between Ephesus, Fralona, Barker's Crossroads, Central Hatchie, Roosterville Road. So I'm going to keep watching this to see if this is actually going to grow anymore. And if it does, and if they issue a warning, we'll definitely pass that along to you. But that's the only thing that we're really seeing that is any type of concern right now. And you can see, yeah, there's a little bit here with reflectivity kind of in this area here that we're watching as this crosses over the line. Okay, you see that right there, right around Ephesus. That would be moving into the northern parts. It would be southern Carroll, northern parts of Heard County right here near Ephesus, where we're going to have to keep watching that. Now that that new scan came in, let me look at velocity one more time. So not seeing really a big change with that within velocity either. Let me turn the lightning off just so y'all can see that what we're watching here. But again, near Sewell, about to cross over the line. So if you're watching us on streaming right now, okay, there that did. Okay, so that doesn't look like it tightened up anymore with that latest scan that just came in. But this is what we have. This is what we watch as meteorologists. We're watching this, and the National Weather Service is also watching this as well. Let me see if they have given any other new information on it. I was thinking they may go ahead and issue at least a severe thunderstorm warning with it. And a lot of times when they issue severe thunderstorm warnings, they'll say tornado possible. But at this point, those latest scans did not show really any tightening with it, but it's just something interesting that we're watching there, moving into the northwestern part there of Heard County, and that's just south of Carroll County. So that's what we're needing to watch right now. Danielle's here too. You have anything new?
The Braves are in the rain delay now.
They went ahead and did a rain delay? Okay, cool. I get stuff from the Braves too. I haven't gotten that yet. So Danielle just told me about the Braves most likely going to delay a little bit here. So a lot to watch. Okay. So there again is this heavy rain that's pushing into our area. And we'll see these storms moving into these parts of Paulding County, northern Carroll County, into parts of Douglas County too. And plenty of thunder and lightning. And then this part right here that we see over into northern Heard County is a really interesting part that we have to watch at this hour. Okay, so yeah. That is what we have to watch. And let me look at velocity here too. And again, I'm gonna hold on this scan here. We should get a new scan coming in just a little bit there to see if this little area, and that's not that impressive. A lot of times though, with systems like this, we'll get a little brief spin up that can happen, and then by the time the warning comes out and everything, it could be so brief that it could be over. So that's why I kind of want to watch this right here, and that's just a little kind of blip that we're seeing there within our velocity. They're in the western parts of northern Heard County. They're near the Ephesus area, but we're not seeing this tightening up anymore. But it was just a mid-level rotation to watch. So really between Ephesus and Roopville and over into Central Hatchie, just keeping an eye on that potential rotation there to see if it grows a little bit more. Now when you look at the reflectivity with it, there is kind of some interesting little hooks there within that, but that's not the only thing that we watch. We look at that, the reflectivity, and again, keeping an eye on those areas in the northern parts of Heard County into the southern parts of Carroll County. That again, if this is actual any rotation, it would be for that northern part of Heard and potentially moving into the southern part of Troup County, up near the Roopville area, if that were to hold together. But right now, the main threats there are the heavy rain and also the thunder and lightning coming into Carroll County. All right, so I'm seeing if we have anything new coming in right now. Okay, no, nothing new there with those storms. So here's another look. Let me take you to some of our tower cams again. Here is what we're watching in, I'll take you to Truist. Here, this first one, this is actually Rome, the first one I'm going to show you, with the heavy rain coming down. Really more light to moderate rain, not as heavy as it was. It was stronger earlier when that initial line moved through. And now here's a look at Truist, where we see folks there at the stadium. Now the deal is, I can't, while the game is going on, ESPN is saying that the Braves are already in a rain delay, but I have not gotten that alert from the Braves yet, and I would rather wait until I get that from the actual Braves. And let me just look again and see. Yeah, so I'm going to wait until I get that confirmed through the Braves, but ESPN is reporting that the Braves are going to be in a rain delay and they won't even start at 7:15. I can't tilt down because if they are broadcasting right now, we would violate, showing at least part of the game in there. So I can't tilt down to see if there's an actual tarp on the field right now. But you see people that are in the stands, and what we're going to do is just really watch this rain as it gets closer. And it will have thunder and lightning in association with it, and that's something they have to watch very closely, not only for the players, but for everybody in the stands as well, as those storms can continue to move in just a little bit more with that thunder and lightning pushing on over to the east. So they are saying that they are going to expire this severe thunderstorm warning for Gilmer. Oh, wait. Yeah. Severe thunderstorm warning. This is supposed to be in effect until 7:30 for Gilmer, still in effect, but they're saying they're going to Gilmer, Murray, Eastern Borden. Yeah, that one already expired. So again, we're waiting to see how long the National Weather Service is going to hold on to this warning. It is supposed to expire at 7:30, but we're seeing signs that it is a lot weaker. We'll find out whether or not they're going to allow this to expire or to be canceled early, or if they're going to let this go until 7:30. Because again, it's not as impressive as it was earlier with the rain amounts. The intensity of the rain is not as impressive as it was a little bit earlier, and that's moving into car decay. With heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. But actually, this stuff over in West Georgia has heavier rain with it than what we're dealing with up in the warning up to in parts of Gilmer County. But the intensity of the rain is not what triggers a severe thunderstorm warning. What triggers a severe thunderstorm warning would be hail, an inch in diameter or larger, or winds of 57, 58 miles an hour or greater. These new scans coming in right now showing this heavy rain coming into Paulding County, heavy rain down into parts of Carroll County with a thunder and lightning. Let me get back down here to this cell that we've been watching here. Okay, so we're getting, again, some information about the Braves and the rain delay there. Here is a velocity one more time. Okay, so this is good that I'm not seeing that. Remember we were watching that little red that was showing up around Ephesus? So we're not really seeing that anymore. It was in this area right here where we were seeing some potential rotation. It was mid-level rotation, but not anything, strong enough to issue a tornado warning. And we're not even seeing the red in that anymore. So that's a good update that we're seeing as this continues to move over to the east. There's a little bit right there. Okay, so it was kind of hidden behind the thing. So this would be at Rogers Street. And again, this isn't a confirmation of anything, but it's just something we're watching there. Now to the east of Highway 100, right there at Ephesus, right over here. That would be moving closer to Roosterville, maybe just staying south of Stony Point, maybe getting closer to Roopville. So again, nothing major. It's just one little spot there that we're keeping an eye on. In the northern parts of Heard County and into southern Carroll County. But really heavy rain coming into those areas right now. This is not moving for me here. There we go. And again, this is all getting closer to the metro Atlanta area and continuing to move on in. Here, we'll put this into motion for you one more time, where we still have that severe thunderstorm warning well up to the north for Gilmer County. And it looks like what they're going to do is issue a special weather statement down line from this for areas of southeastern Gilmer, northwestern Dawson, east central Pickens, southwestern Union, and southeastern Fannin County until 7:45 for up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. So they're even saying now that this warning is still going to expire or maybe be canceled early, but instead of issuing a new warning, they're letting people know to the east, like over in Dawson County, for the rest of Gilmer County, for this part of Pickens County here, that we have winds that are going to be up to around 40 miles an hour. And then these showers and storms still with that heavy rain and also the thunder and lightning there too. So you know what, guys, let me ask, I'm going to ask the Weather Service real quick. Hold on, guys, just for a second. Okay. So they're now issuing special weather statements over to the east, and most likely aren't going to issue a new warning there to the east, but still winds of about 40 miles an hour with that cell continuing to move on through. And then this heavy rain now in Bartow County, moving into Cherokee County, this heavy rain coming out of Polk and Haralson, now into eastern parts of Paulding County, and then all of this is in Carroll County, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning, and then still keeping an eye on that part there in northern Heard County and southern Carroll County with very heavy rain, and that's where we have the concentration of lightning. So that part of the storm is stronger right here in that southern part of Carroll County and northern Heard County. But all of this is going to be pushing closer to the Atlanta area, and we'll be moving in, still thinking it'll be in over Truist Park around closer to 8 o'clock tonight as that continues to move on through. Okay, we're getting a reply on that really quick. Okay, so they're saying that storm is decreasing in intensity, but they're keeping the warning going until 7:30. So, but it is decreasing in intensity. As it moves over to the east of that, it would be below severe limits, and that's why they're not issuing any new warning there. But this is all closing in on the city of Atlanta. What we're going to do right now, it's 7:19. I'm going to go ahead and take you back just to our maps, just to let us kind of reset here. So if y'all are hearing me out there in the digital area, let's just take it back to maps, and then we may rejoin you in just a little while as this gets a little bit closer to Atlanta to give you another update coming up in just a little bit. So we'll take you back to maps here on 11 Alive Plus, as well as on Weather Impact 24/7, and we'll join you in just a little while as this is getting a little bit closer to the Atlanta area. the post-race coverage of the Kentucky Derby. The Derby is over. This is the post-race coverage. We've got to get on the air, though, to let you know about a tornado warning that is in effect now for this area that you see in red. This is in parts of Carroll County right now, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning, actually a tornado warning that is in effect for that part of Carroll County until 8:15. We have been watching this cell that started off in the northern parts of Heard County. We've been streaming on 11 Alive Plus while these storms have been moving in, and we've been watching an area of rotation that was in the northern parts of Heard County, but is now into parts of Carroll County. I'm going to put the velocity mode on here right now so you can see these areas that we're watching, where we have, and it doesn't really show up that well, but it's near the Clem area where we have potential rotation, and this is radar indicated rotation there that is over Clem, near Carrollton, really just to the south of the Carrollton area, near Clem right here, where we have that potential rotation that is moving over, and I'm getting information right here that's just come in from the Weather Service, moving to the east at about 20 miles an hour. This is radar indicated rotation here with that storm, and in fact, what I'm going to do is kind of go backwards a little bit here, and we'll be able to see that little bits of rotation that we've been watching, and some of those areas of red here that you're going to see coming in right there. Right there. Those are those areas of rotation that we were watching here, and that is what has triggered this tornado warning that is in effect until 8:15 for this part of Carroll County because of that rotation there with that storm. This is moving over toward the east at about 20 miles an hour. I'll widen out here a little bit more. I'll put a track on this, and we'll be able to see that this storm is moving from that Clem area, continuing to push over toward the east at about 20 miles an hour. This will show up here in just a second here, where that would take that storm, take this out to 20 miles an hour, and you'll be able to see that that storm would be pushing into parts of Clem and then into Banning and Byers Crossroads. The timelines would be 7:33, which is within the next minute or so in Clem, near Banning at 7:46, Byers Crossroads at 7:58, Red Wine at 8:07, and then at Chattahoochee Hills at 8:17. This has been a very small area of rotation that we've been detecting there in Carroll County, but this would be moving over to the east, potentially. Now, Douglas County, you're not in this warning, but we are watching for you in Douglas County if this happened to ramp back up and make it into Douglas, or potentially into South Fulton County. Now, you see Chattahoochee Hills and Red Wine, that is outside of the polygon. So Red Wine and Chattahoochee Hills, you are not in this tornado warning, but if it held together, it would move into your area most likely after 8 o'clock at 8:07 at Red Wine, 8:17 in Chattahoochee Hills. But for this area from Clem over toward Banning, that's what we're watching between now and 7:46, where we see this potential rotation that would keep moving over to the east and moving into that direction there. And with that tornado warning that is in effect, that will be in effect here until we get to the 8:15 time frame. So that tornado warning for Carroll County, this bit of rotation not looking as impressive now as it did a little bit earlier, and even then it was just a few blips there on velocity showing us where we had that potential rotation that's moving over toward the east. Now, to give you perspective of what we're talking about here, excuse me, here we are in the city of Atlanta, where we don't have any rain coming here yet, but it's over to the west of us, over in Carroll County. This is the part we're seeing near Clem in Carroll County. That is south and east of Carrollton, where we have that potential rotation that is moving over to the east at about 20 miles an hour. We'll put it back to reflectivity here, and you can see that area that we're watching. This is an impressive line of showers and storms that we've been watching coming in from Alabama, moving through parts of West Georgia. We did have a tornado warning earlier in far northwest Georgia in Walker County that was coming out of Alabama. That one weakened. These storms coming in from Alabama have still been holding together pretty well, with some very heavy rain coming in with this. But as of right now, we don't have any other severe thunderstorm warnings with this. We just have the one tornado warning here south and east of Carroll County because of that rotation that we were seeing. And what happens a lot of times with these storms, even though with this line so far, we've generally been seeing winds of about 40 miles an hour, which has been below severe thunderstorm status. But what we have to watch at any time with the setup that we're dealing with right now is that we could see rotation developing here at any time. I'm looking to see if we have any background information here from the National Weather Service. So they're saying that they're not confident that the storm would actually produce a tornado, but they're seeing enough rotation with it that they needed to issue a warning. So this is that circulation there is not necessarily confirmed that this is touching down, but the signals that we're seeing on radar indicating where we have that potential for any rotation to develop that could touch down. And they said it was enough of an indicator on radar that it was enough to issue a warning. So it's this part right here as that would be moving in closer to Whitesburg. And again, South Fulton is not included in this warning, but if it does move into Chattahoochee Hills, that would be most likely a little bit after 8 o'clock. This is in effect until 8:15 for these areas of Carroll County. And this rotation, again, not looking as impressive now as it did earlier, but the National Weather Service is continuing to continuing to hold on to this warning. Now, if they see that the rotation is going away, they may cancel this before the 8:15 timeline. But we're going to hang with you here for a bit longer. Now, again, if you were watching the Kentucky Derby, the race itself is over. There was the post-race interviews that were going on right now. That is what we're covering up right now, and we're sorry if you are annoyed by that, but we've got to get this information on as, again, what we're seeing on radar and what the National Weather Service is seeing on radar is that there's enough evidence there that they need to issue a tornado warning with some rotation. Now, this isn't looking that impressive now. If it is still holding together, it would be pretty much to the east of Clem. There right along, it would be also to the west of Byers Crossroad. This here is, and again, there's Whitesburg right here. It would be in this kind of area right here where we would see that potential rotation as it keeps moving on over to the east at about 20 miles an hour. Normally, we would see a good indicator on velocity where we would see some red and green in association with that. And then that rotation would be indicated there by the red and green. We're only seeing green so far here, and there's a new scan just coming in right now, and we're not seeing any more of that rotation getting any tighter, or the evidence of that rotation getting any tighter. So we're going to hold on with you for a while until the National Weather Service decides to either cancel this warning or until we get some additional indications with new scans coming in that this rotation is falling apart. So again, not a confirmation of a touchdown. We also will look at our debris finder here to see if there's any evidence. Now, this is something to watch. With our debris finder, what we look for here would be stuff like this and this, which would indicate the potential that maybe there would be some lofted debris. This isn't really enough of a signal to make us be overly concerned, but there is at least some reflectivity coming in with this right now, showing some possible debris that is in the air, but again, not confirmed touchdown right now. But what we do here as meteorologists, as we're watching this using our tools, we're also looking at what the National Weather Service is telling us as well, is that we did see a little bit of rotation potentially with that near the Clem area in Carroll County, enough of a rotation indicator on radar that this is could become a tornado, even though we don't have the evidence of any touchdown right now or any damage. But for you folks living in that area, now is the time. If you are in this red polygon, let me widen out so you can see here what we're watching. This is to the south and west of Atlanta. Here's Atlanta right here. This would be in Carroll County. Again, Douglas County is not included in the warning. South Fulton County, you are not in the warning. But what we have to watch, though, is if this rotation did happen to tighten back up and get stronger, which is what happens many times with storms like this. They may kind of pulse up, have rotation, and then kind of come down, and then they could pulse back up again. We'll be watching for you potentially in Douglas County or South Fulton if that happens to hold together. But many times with these setups, we also get the brief spin-ups that are very brief. the warning will be issued, and then if the rotation goes away, they would cancel the warning earlier. So that's what we're going to be watching for over the next few minutes to see if the National Weather Service is feeling comfortable with whether or not this is just a brief thing that is already ending, and if that will continue, or if it's going to continue to ramp back up, and to see if we would have to issue any additional warnings for maybe South Fulton or maybe into areas of Douglas County here, or maybe even the northern parts of Coweta County here as well. The other thing we have, other news we have for you is that the Braves are in a rain delay. They didn't start in anticipation of the rain that was about to move in. We'll put this into reflectivity mode again, and you can see that leading edge of the rain, not even in here to the city of Atlanta yet, but this is that leading edge there in northwestern Cobb, Douglas County. This is going to be pushing into the west side of the perimeter, I'm thinking right around 8 o'clock. And that would be over Truist Park at 8 o'clock. But we have lightning nearby as well, so they didn't start the game for the Braves. But this is the reason we are breaking into programming right now. And again, I know you were watching your post-race coverage there of the Kentucky Derby. The Derby, thank goodness we got the race in before this weather got any worse and before this warning came in. But you're missing the post-race coverage, and we apologize for that. But we have this tornado warning still in effect for Carroll County until 8:15. And it's really this part right here. And we're not seeing the classic red and green there within that. Now, there is another little part right here that could be an indicator there, but really the main thing was right around here earlier. So what we're going to watch for are any other little blips that we're seeing in the radar, which could indicate any additional rotation as this continues to move over Carroll County. So if you are in this red polygon there in Carroll County, which would be between Clem, Cross Plains, Whitesburg, Byers Crossroads, I want you to be in your tornado safe position there. The lowest floor of your home, the basement would be the best place to go. If you don't have a basement, the lowest floor of your home in the centermost part of your house, excuse me, the centermost part of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, just to take cover just in case we do happen to see a touchdown here from some of that potential rotation that we're seeing. So we do see a little bit potential here, but this is the area here as it was coming out of Clem and moving over to the east. This is the area right here, getting closer to Byers Crossroads, where we would have any of that potential rotation there, right along Highway 27, right in this area here in Carroll County. And again, if this holds together, it would move into the southern parts of Fulton County and maybe the northern parts of Coweta County, possibly the southern part of Douglas. So this is the area that we're watching right here to see if we see any additional indicators from radar as to whether or not we do actually have rotation or do actually have a tornado there in Carroll County. But it's enough of an indicator here on radar that we do have this tornado warning. They were saying that it's enough of an indicator that we have there that they are issuing this tornado warning based on what we're seeing there in these areas. And I'm looking off screen here to see if we have any new information coming in from the National Weather Service. They are confirming what I've been telling you. Okay, they're kind of updating this right here just a little bit more. Let me see the latest that they just put out here, that the rotation remains, this warning remains in effect until 8:15 for southeastern Carroll County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Seton Lake, or 8 miles southeast of Carrollton, moving east at 20 miles an hour. Again, this is radar indicated rotation. They are seeing some signs of some gradual weakening. And again, this is supposed to be in effect until 8:15 is what it's saying here. But they're saying if we see in some new scans here that the rotation is not as strong, let me get in just a little bit tighter to this. So it was 8 miles south and east of Carrollton, is where near Seton Lake. 8 miles southeast of Carrollton, moving to the east at 20 miles an hour. So if y'all are familiar with this area, here's Clem, there's Whitesburg. It would be in this area right here near Seton Lake, where we have that potential rotation right now. They were saying that after we get some new scans in, if they see some additional weakening, they will cancel the warning before 8:15. So it's not a guarantee that this warning is actually going to go to 8:15. It just depends on if we see additional weakening or if we see this rotation indication here on radar, if we see it actually ramping up a little bit more. So if you're in Whitesburg right now, over toward Byers Crossroads, over into those areas of Carroll County, I want you to still be in your tornado safe position. They have taken the warning out for you over in Clem. So Clem and Lowell, and near Clem-Lowell Road right here, you are no longer in the warning, all right? So the suspect area of rotation has already moved over to the east of you. But still for Whitesburg, Byers Crossroads, even for you over in Yates, you are just outside of that polygon, but I want you to be aware of this and maybe be in your tornado safe position there just in case. But what we're waiting for the next little bit is to see from the National Weather Service if any of this rotation there, this suspect rotation.
Is it just west of Whitesburg?
Just west of Whitesburg, right here. You're hearing Danielle Moss. She's here with me here. We're watching this together. So the latest is just to the west of Whitesburg, where we see this potential tornado warning, or this tornado warning that's in effect, potential rotation there. That is in still that, so that would be right around here. Danielle, do you kind of agree with me what we're seeing right here?
Yeah.
Even though we're not seeing the classic red and green kind of coming together here, this is an indicator that it's just the different colors of green, indicating that weak rotation that we have with it. But it would be just near just west and near the Whitesburg area. So if you're in Whitesburg, I want you to be in your tornado safe position. This is Highway 5, Highway 27. That would be at the crossroads there, right at the Whitesburg area near Moore Street, Acorn Road, North 5 Notch Road there, Old Noonan Road, Black Dirt Road, all of that area still within the tornado warned area. So this small polygon is all that we have left right now for you folks in Carroll County. So we're going to wait from the National Weather Service, number one, to see if this is showing signs of weakening and if they're going to cancel this warning, or if we see it potentially ramping up a little bit more, and if they are going to issue an additional warning, possibly over into South Fulton County or into the northern parts of Coweta County. Here's Whitesburg. This is the reflectivity. I was showing you the velocity mode just a moment ago. This is the reflectivity, and this would line up with what we're seeing here by these little notches. That would be kind of lining up with that area that we were just showing you on reflectivity, on velocity mode actually, where we would see that potential rotation. There's the new scan that just came in. So it would be over here now, again, near Whitesburg, where we have that potential rotation, and it would be moving out of the polygon here pretty soon. So now would be the time frame of whether or not they are, if they were going to issue another warning for South Fulton or for Northern Coweta or Southern Douglas, I would think they would be doing it about now in this time frame here, because this is the potential rotation that we're watching, and it's going to be moving out of this polygon in just a little bit. And then I would think they would, if they're going to issue a new one, it would be coming really soon here for those areas. Now here's Chattahoochee Hills. So far you're good in Chattahoochee Hills. We've got Red Wine, Dunaway Gardens here, Windsor Estates, moving down into the northern parts of Coweta County there. You are not in that polygon right now, but those are the areas that I'm going to be watching if this warning were to be extended over toward the east. That would be the next places that it would be. So the Weather Service is watching, and let me go back to velocity just to see. And Danielle, I don't see anything overly concerning right now. This over near Roscoe and Red Wine, that's not anything there right now, but it is this part right here, pretty much now, I would think to the east of Whitesburg, just to the east of Whitesburg now, along Highway 5. And again, we're just seeing some different shades of green there. It's not the classic red and green tight rotation that we normally see with a tornado. It's just that tighter, or just that kind of more not as impressive looking area here on velocity. But the Weather Service still holding on to this right now for this tornado warning. Again, supposed to expire at 8:15, but actually this is about to move out of the polygon warning. And also the Weather Service is assessing whether or not, okay, they just you saw that polygon disappear here. So they have just canceled that warning for Carroll County. So that is a good sign. The storm that prompted the warning has moved out of the area, therefore the warning has been canceled. So what we're going to do here, I want to just give you a rundown of what we're watching, and then I'll take you back to your regularly scheduled program. And then for those of you leaving us on 11 Alive, if you want continued weather updates, I'm going to keep streaming. Danielle is here. We're going to keep streaming a little while longer here on 11 Alive Plus. You can download that on your television here. Just search that on your TV, the smart TV, or using Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV. Search for 11 Alive Plus, and we'll have more extended coverage there so we can get you back to your regularly scheduled program here. But the warning for Carroll County has been canceled before the expiration time. But what we're going to be doing on streaming is we're going to continue watching this line as it's closing in on the city of Atlanta. We'll also monitor this area down to the south to see if any additional rotation develops with that. If so, we'll break back into programming here at 11 Alive. So for continued coverage now, go to 11 Alive Plus for more on this weather moving into Atlanta. Welcome back. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb. We are streaming now on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7 as we are continuing to watch this line of showers and storms that is moving in closer to the Atlanta area now. If you were with us earlier, we broke into programming on 11 Alive, and I'm just confirming, Marcos, we're streaming only right now, right? Yeah. Yes, perfect. Okay. Where we're watching these storms that have been moving through. When we were on 11 Alive earlier, we had a tornado warning in Carroll County where the National Weather Service and we were detecting some weak rotation on our velocity mode, which was indicating enough of a reason to issue a warning. We do not have any confirmation of an actual tornado touching down or any damage there. We're going to be watching for that, but it was supposed to be in effect until 8:15, but they were able to cancel that warning early because the rotation with that went away. That suspect area went away, and it was moving out of the polygon of where that warning was in effect. So right now, we do not have any warnings in effect for North Georgia, for Metro Atlanta, or down to the south. But that is a perfect example of what we saw in Carroll County, that even though they didn't have a severe thunderstorm warning in Carroll County, no warnings back into Alabama, but as it crossed over the line, it just exhibited some brief rotation with it, and that's why they issued a tornado warning for those areas of Carroll County as that system was moving on over to the east. Now, we have this line of showers and storms. This is closing in on Truist Park right now. If you were watching us earlier, I was telling you that we were thinking this leading edge would be along the west side of the perimeter at 8 o'clock. Here we are at 7:59 right now, and there's that leading edge on the west side of the perimeter, and Truist Park is right here. They did have a rain delay for Truist. I don't think they ever started playing. They went ahead and did a rain delay, anticipating this line that was going to be moving in with the heavy rain and also the thunder and lightning. Now, we don't think this is going to be lasting all evening long. I think they would be having a rain delay for a while, and then hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of this through there where they will be able to get that game in later on. But we'll have to wait and see on that if that's actually going to happen. But you do see some lightning with this in Cobb County, heavy rain in Douglas County. That's leading edge is now into South Fulton. And then this that was coming out of Carroll County, a good bit of lightning with this moving in to the northern parts of Coweta County. That's all going to keep moving over to the east. And then that extends back into Heard County, just north of the LaGrange area. Northern Troop is getting in on some of that, as well as west of Troop County. So this is closing in on the city of Atlanta right now. Ahead of this main line, we have some isolated areas of little cells that are developing. This one right on top of Peachtree City with some thunder and lightning. This one over at Walton County near Loganville, we have some heavy rain and thunder and lightning developing with that. Excuse me, again, ahead of that main line that is moving through or pushing through or nearing the Atlanta area right now, coming in on the west side of the perimeter. Marcos, if you will, go ahead and put up that Max 3 for me right now. I want to show you what Danielle had set up for us. This is over in Fulton County right now at I-285 in Fulton County. You'll be able to see here, the cars are having to go, excuse me, a little bit slower here, but you can see how the water is spraying up there on the roads from the rain that's coming in there in the southern part of Fulton County there, close to I-285, right there along I-285. So the roads are wet. Now let's go back to Max. I want to show you a couple of other cameras. There you see the rain that's moving in right now. And I want to show you our tower cams here, our remotes that are going to show you what we're watching. This is Truist, where, thank goodness, they did have a rain delay there and got people out of the seats because that heavy rain is pushing in right now. This is that leading edge right over Truist Park right now, and this is going to be around for a little while, so we'll wait and see when this is going to taper off. Here is our tower cam. This is in Noonan. Excuse me, this is actually looking over more toward the northeast where we see the darker clouds that are moving in right now. But we're about to see some heavy rain move into Noonan in just a little bit too. So that is that main line of showers and storms closing in not only on the city of Atlanta and on the west side, but we're also watching down on the south side near Noonan some of these showers and storms that'll be moving in. Here is another look at the severe thunderstorm watch that is supposed to be in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. It does include all of the metro area. Cleburne County over in Alabama was just taken out of the watch, but Randolph County, excuse me, you are still in it. These counties in West Georgia still in it. Metro Atlanta is still in the watch. It goes over just to the west of Athens. It does not include Clark County, does not include Oconee County, but it does include Barrow County, also Jackson County, up into Banks County, Hall County, Gwinnett, Walton County. This goes down to Butts County, Upson County, down toward Columbus, and then up the state line as far north as Bartow County, Cherokee, Pickens, Dawson, and Lumpkin County, and I mentioned Hall and Banks there. So in that orange, all these orange counties that you see there, that's where we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11 o'clock. Now, I think they will take away more counties on the west side here. Now that those stronger storms are pushing into Atlanta, I think they would most likely take Polk and Haralson County out of this soon, and then eventually they would take out Bartow and Paulding County, and they'll just kind of start whittling away from the west some of those counties that are in this watch. So I really think that most of us won't be in this watch, severe thunderstorm watch, until 11:15. I think that they would be taking out some of those counties here as it moves on in. So here is a look again as these showers and storms are closing in on the city of Atlanta. We showed you that tower cam up at Truist, which is right here. All right, this is the west side of the perimeter, that heavy rain coming in. This is about to move into the city of Atlanta. We have on remote 60, I'm gonna look at that really quick. This is our camera at Georgia Tech, and I want to show you a before and after. This is the before there. This is Georgia Tech looking at the skyline here. This is actually looking to the east, and you can still see the some clouds out there, still see the buildings. It is dry. That is all about to change really within the next few minutes. I'm going to take you back to this camera here in just a few minutes, and it is going to be looking more like the Truist Park camera that looks like this right now. With the rain that's coming down. So what we're seeing at Truist now, where we have a rain delay for the Braves-Dodgers game, this rain is in really just a matter of moments about to move into Atlanta. And I'll show you that camera again here in just a few minutes once everything moves in. But here we go back to our radar imagery from our Doppler radar. And you can see those showers and storms that were in North Georgia earlier. Those continue to move from northwest over to the east. This leading edge about to move into Gainesville, about to move in over Lake Lanier. As you know, last night at Lake Lanier, we had that water spout. A lot of videos circulating online of the water spout over Lake Lanier. That was very impressive. We had some damage in parts of Gainesville from some of the strong winds there with that. This is calmer than what we had out there last night. Here you can see closer to the city. Now this main part of the system closing in on Atlanta, North Fulton County, Roswell, the northwest side of the perimeter. This is about to be on top of downtown, as I mentioned, in a matter of minutes. I'll check that camera here in a few minutes here in Atlanta at Georgia Tech, and we're going to see the heavy rain over us. And then the west side here, southwest side, about to move in to those areas on the southwest side of the perimeter. Here again is that leading edge that will be moving into around Union City toward East Point. Hartsfield-Jackson is right here. Those are the runways and taxiways from Hartsfield-Jackson, and we will see the heavy rain coming into the airport in just a moment too. In fact, I'll show you the airport right now, and we still have the clouds look they're still thick over us, but the runways and taxiways are still dry, but that also is about to change. We do not have any delays right now at Hartsfield-Jackson. It'll be interesting to see if they have any delays starting to pile up as those showers and storms get a little bit closer to us. Danielle, is your mic up? Is Danielle's mic up? Can we hear her? Yeah. Danielle, you guys may not know. In fact, Danielle, come over here with me, and we're going to share the screen here. I'll move over here and you can step in. For those of you who don't know, of course, Danielle is a meteorologist, you know that. But her first career, we just saw a little bit of lightning there. Her first career was as a flight attendant.
Yes.
And from your experience, from what we're seeing with storms like this coming in to Hartsfield, you flew in and out of Hartsfield a lot, right?
Yes.
What does it take really for a ground stop, or when we see these delays start coming in? It's more, I mean, Hartsfield can get through rain, but when you start seeing that lightning coming in more and then the lower visibility, that complicates things a little bit. So from your experience, what kind of takes it to a ground stop or seeing those delays starting
That's
out?
exactly right. The lightning and the ceilings, the low ceilings. So those clouds, they start getting lower and lower. Fog starts to develop. Visibility gets low. They have their own meteorologists that work in air traffic control and say, hey, visibility is too low for people to make landings. The good news is here in Hartsfield, our runways are very long, so we don't have a short taxiway. So they have plenty of options as well to land those planes. The lightning, though, they're going to get those ground crews off the tarmac whenever there's lightning. So when you have lightning, they put you on a delay. You can sit in a plane up to 4 hours before the FAA fines the airline for the number of passengers on that plane. So you can sit on the tarmac, unfortunately, for 4 hours. And I've done that before. Just sat there, wait for lightning to clear. And sometimes, they'll pull you into the gate, but they cannot unload your bags. So that's the other thing. So if they get you to the gate, then they can pull, it over. The gate agent can make sure that you get off, but your bags, you could be waiting down there for hours.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize sometimes. It's not necessarily the inability to fly.
Right.
Because, with the visual flight rules or instrument rules or anything like that, they can make it happen, but it's the safety of the employees as well on the tarmac. And like you say, you might can go into the gate and get off there, but they cannot get out to get your luggage out of the plane if there's lightning around.
Exactly, because you have to think a plane is just a big metal tube. That's what we used to call it all the time. So it's just lightning waiting to happen. So they want to make sure that those ground crews are safe. And not just, the people who are doing baggage, but you got to think there's someone that waves in the plane. You got to think that there's somebody who's driving all of the little mobiles that you're seeing. So there's so many different things that, like you said, employee safety is number one concern when it comes to storms coming into the south.
Delivering food to the plane for the next flight that's about to take up, so you can get your little cookies and crackers there.
All that stops.
So there's so much there.
All of it stops.
Okay, good information. Thank you for that. So Danielle is here with me here, and we're going to be streaming for just a little while longer. What we have been watching, of course, we did that tornado warning where we had to break into programming. I have not even looked at Twitter to see if people are complaining about that yet, but we are doing that for safety. Thank goodness the Kentucky Derby was over, and it was just the post-race interviews that were going on that we had to cover up there. But after that warning actually was canceled before the expiration time, we still wanted to come back here with you on streaming just to let you know as these storms are closing in and are over the city of Atlanta right now. There's that leading edge now inside the perimeter over the city going down 85. This is pretty much roughly along the I-85 corridor right now. You can see it lining up from Roswell down into parts of Coweta County, South Fulton. It's the heavy rain coming in, the thunder and lightning. We do not have any warnings right now. Now, I'm going to look at a couple of things. I'm going to look at velocity on this on the south side. Okay, that actually looks okay, but this just kind of caught my attention there. Whenever we see these little appendages kind of coming down with some of these storms here, we like to get a closer look at those to see if that could be any rotation developing. Looking at velocity there, I don't really see anything that concerns me with that. But again, it's kind of close to the radar site, so again, nothing is really standing out, and Danielle can confirm with me if she's seeing anything either. Nothing's really standing out being overly concerning right now. We do not have any warnings, but also we didn't have any warnings earlier until the National Weather Service issued the tornado warning in Carroll County, because any time in these lines like this, we could see some of those areas of rotation that would be developing there. So
they just updated the watch.
Okay, they just updated the watch. Let me show you the watch. They're most likely taking some counties out. And let me show you this right now, and you'll be able to see compared to what I showed you a little bit earlier. And this pretty much lines up with what I said earlier. I was expecting them to take out Carroll. I was mentioning Polk, Harrelson, and Paulding. But they also took out Carroll County. And so as these storms continue moving over toward the east, they will most likely then take out Cobb and Douglas, and then Fulton, then Hurd and Coweta as the line continues moving over toward the east, and then it would move out of the area. And I would actually be surprised if these counties on the east side actually hold on until 11 o'clock. I think the line is going to be out of here before the 11 o'clock time frame comes. So Danielle was just telling me they took out additional counties here, and that was Paulding County, Haralson County, Polk County, and they also took out Douglas County from that severe thunderstorm warning. I do think Cherokee and Bartow may have been in this earlier. Anyway, but they're not in it now. If they were in it earlier, they're no longer in it. But we still have Cobb, Douglas, Fulton still in it, and down into Heard, and also Coweta County, and those counties over to the west are still in it as well. So this is a look. Let's go back to radar, and here is what we're watching with those storms coming through the city of Atlanta. I hear them on our roof right now, and since I told you I would go back to the Georgia Tech camera, let me keep my promise there. So you can see the latest that we have at Georgia Tech. All right, so those clouds are dark. We have rain coming down right now, but that rain is only going to get harder. And then the visibility is actually going to be a little bit reduced, that we're going to see here in a minute as these rain showers get a little bit harder here, and it'll be a little harder to see those buildings as that heavy rain coming in. Let's go back to Max 3. Is that what you were telling me there, Marcos? Okay. Danielle, do you mind putting the Northside Hospital camera on 59?
Yes.
That is Georgia 400 here, and 285 is going to be looking really impressive too. As she's putting that in there, I'm going to call it up here so you can see. Okay, that's Noonan right there with the heavy rain. I think she's going to be putting that in 59 if I have the right one up here. You'll see. There we go. There is the tower cam at Northside Hospital. And yeah, that visibility is reduced. We've got heavy rain there. This is 285 that goes down to Roswell Road right here. That's the angle that we're looking more toward the west. And you see that part of 285 right here. Georgia 400 will be right over here this way. But again, you can't see a lot there because the rain is coming down. The clouds are very dark as well. And now, since we're on these, let me take you back to Truist Park. And when you see me looking off screen, I'm controlling the graphics here. So Truist is actually still, we've got the raindrops on the lens, but we may be seeing Truist lighten up a little bit, not quite as heavy as it was a little bit earlier, but still they're in a rain delay. And what we're going to have to wait for, though, is the rest of this rain. This is just the leading edge that's moving through right now. But we still have some rain back behind this. It goes all the way back to Cedartown, all the way back to the Alabama line. So this is the leading edge with that heaviest rain. But if you're wanting a baseball game to start, we still have to get through this light to moderate rain and another little batch of more heavy rain that's over at the Alabama line that still has to push through our area. So it may take a while before that game is actually able to start. So the rain on top of us right now, no warnings in effect. We just have some good heavy rain. The closest warning to us is way down here, south of LaGrange, closer to the Columbus area, where we're seeing some of that thunder and lightning that's continuing to move on through. And again, this is all pushing through the city. And these showers developing up ahead of the main line over in Social Circle in near Walton County, where we see these heavier showers that are developing with some thunder and lightning. And I always like to look at these. We call these discrete cells that develop ahead of the main line. Okay, I don't see anything concerning with that. A lot of times those little cells that develop ahead of the main line are troublesome sometimes. That could sometimes have some rotation and association with them. So this is that line stretching from Rabun County through areas of White County, Habersham County, leading edge moving through Hall County right here. This is over Lake Lanier right now with that heaviest rain. And then right there along 985, I-85 pushing into western Gwinnett. Heavy rain over the city. That's moving into DeKalb. It's over North DeKalb now, moving out I-20 through DeKalb. Now this heavy rain, South Fulton, northern Clayton County, Fayette County, the northern part, and then Coweta County, you've got the heavy rain coming through, and that stretches back toward the Columbus area. So all of this continuing to push on over to the east as we monitor these storms rolling through. So it's 8:16. What I think I'm going to do right now, we'll take a little break as we go back. We'll put the maps back up for you so you can keep watching this. But Danielle and I are going to be monitoring these storms If we think any additional warnings are going to be issued anytime soon, we will come back on. But for now, line of heavy rain, thunder and lightning pushing through, no warnings, but just be aware the main threats are heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and also some gusty wind. So we're going to take you back to the looping maps. You can keep an eye on radar. We'll have the tower cam showing up there as well, and stay with that. We will break in a little later if we feel like we need to get you any more information here on 11 Alive Plus and on Weather Impact 24/7. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have another tornado warning to tell you about, breaking into programming to let you know about this potential rotation south of Atlanta right now. This is in this red polygon that you see right here. This includes parts of Fulton County, areas of actually northwestern Henry County and Clayton County. South Fulton is not included in this one. I'll put this up on the screen for you so you can see this tornado warning that we have in effect right now. This is for those areas on the south side, Clayton County, also Henry County. I know that just disappeared. I'll put it back up here for you so you can see here these areas that we're talking about, where this is going to be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight for this tornado warning. This is the area we're watching. Here's Atlanta right here. We've got the airport right here. Here's what we're watching right at around Forest Park, where the National Weather Service is saying that there is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Lake City or near Jonesboro, moving east at 25 miles an hour. Let me get closer to this right now, because this is not far from the airport right here, where we would be seeing this potential rotation coming down. Our velocity mode will show this is the area right here where we will be watching that potential rotation. We're looking at this all at the same time here, where we have this part right here, not really indicating anything too tight here, but if there is actual rotation with this, it would be right here, not too far from Morrow. So again, the National Weather Service saying that this is near Forest Park when they were issuing this warning over Lake City or near Jonesboro. Let me get in a little bit tighter here, so you can see those areas right here. There's Lake City. All right, so this is lining up with the area that we're thinking. So here's Forest Park, here's Lake City right here. It is right here near Reynolds Road and near Morrow along Highway 54, where we have this potential rotation that is moving over toward the east, and the Weather Service is saying this is moving east at about 25 miles an hour. So I'm going to put a track on here for you, and you'll be able to see this area that we're watching. And this polygon, they're saying moving east, but I really think it's tracking a little bit more to the southeast, moving at about 25 miles an hour. Okay, ignore that, because I'm going to need to widen out just a little bit to get a better, to be able to get up to the speed that this is going to. And you'll be able to see this here a little bit better here. So again, this is going to be moving generally east-southeast at about 25 miles an hour. And so this will be showing you which areas that we're talking about where this is going to be moving to. If this holds together, it would be in Morrow at 8:13, North Clayton at 8:38, Stockbridge at 8:50. And then if it continues moving outside of the polygon, then it would go to Miller's Mill at about 9:03, Kellytown at 9:10. But again, that's outside of this warning area. We're mainly talking about these areas here from Morrow over to Stockbridge between now and 8:50, where we have this potential rotation. Again, it is not confirmed as an actual tornado. It is Doppler radar indicated potential rotation there. I'm looking at the debris finder. I don't see really any lofted debris that stands out right now. Maybe near Morrow, a little bit of that. But again, this is not a confirmed tornado that we have right now. But it is a Doppler radar indicated rotation there for those areas on the south side right here. This is the reflectivity, which shows that leading edge of the rain there on the east side of the perimeter over in DeKalb County now. And then in that leading edge of these storms right here, south of the city, that's where we have these storms that are rolling through. Since we're talking about the airport, I want to show that to you right now, our airport camera. This is generally east of the airport, but we have the heavy rain that's been moving through. Our camera has shifted a little bit. So we're really looking there to see, you can see the runways and taxiways are wet here. We have the rain coming down. You can see the lightning there here at Hartsfield-Jackson. So again, the main part of this rotation has already moved to the east of Hartsfield-Jackson, but I wanted to check this camera just to see what we can see. Of course, a lot of low clouds, a lot of dark clouds, a lot of heavy rain, and a lot of lightning right now coming down at Hartsfield-Jackson. I also want to show you, we're hearing good rumbles of thunder here at the station. I want to show you what we're watching in the downtown area where we have the heavy rain coming in. This is our Georgia Tech camera there, where we see this heavy rain that's coming in right now over the city. We're looking east here with, again, the visibility reduced a little bit harder to see those buildings as that heavier rain coming in right now. Go ahead, Danielle.
Shear tracker on the storm rotation.
Okay, let me go back to this really quick here, and let's look at here. Danielle is here with me. And Danielle, go ahead and tell me what you're talking about. I'm going to put up the shear as you're talking here as well.
If you look at the shear tracks and the shear rotation, it shows that there's been some pretty good rotation near Riverdale, about to cross 675. Well, the 675-75 split there near Rex as well, through Forest Park, right in that area. It definitely has held that rotation right through that area pretty good. So headed Stockbridge in that area.
Okay, so what we're talking about here, a couple of areas that we're watching. This is what has triggered the tornado warning for those areas, again, just to the east of Forest Park. This is about to cross over 675 there in parts of Clayton County between 285 and Stockbridge. So that is that potential rotation. We're also watching a couple of areas of some shear between Jonesboro and Irondale. This is outside of the warning area though, but it's that little part there that we're watching for that rotation. That lines up with what we're seeing. This is right around Rex Road, right here at Maddox Road. This is Ellenwood. Here's 675 here, and then Rex Road goes on the other side of 675 there as well. You've got Eastwood Village here, and then there's Stockbridge. So this rotation that we're watching right here, that has triggered this latest tornado warning. So you've got 675 here. This is 75 at Mount Zion Road and tomorrow. So really, this rotation is already to the east of Morrow. If you live, excuse me, in this red polygon, they're at 75, 675 between Morrow, really from Maddox Road here over to Ellenwood and Village Parkway to Rex Road to East Atlanta Road to Stockbridge. Stockbridge, you're right on the edge of that polygon there. I want you to be in your tornado safe position in the lowest floor of your home. If you have a basement, the basement is the best place to be right now. If you do not have a basement, be in the lowest floor of your home, in the centermost part of your house, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible to protect you there from